So you're going to go the other way, come in from the other side, lift that sucker up, and slam it down. Hi, I'm Michael Redman.
And I'm Kathryn Redman.
And this is a half a bubble out
autocomplete
interview. All right. See if I can do this without my glasses.
Today's topic is business and work.
Right.
They go together, business and work.
Business and work.
Business and work,
Okay, here we go. Ready? This is like, what does that say?
It says, are business owners rich?
We are rich in satisfaction.
Which makes us in a very small percentage, because not very many business leaders are rich in satisfaction.
So defining rich.
Rich.
We're not super rich. I'm not even sure we're rich.
How do you define rich?
That's the tricky part. How do you define rich? So there's a lot of words. So I say we're wealthy because we have a lot of things to be thankful for, including money.
Are business owners in general?
Business owners in general are not rich because
They're not.
it turns out that 90% of them fail.
90% of them fail, so not rich.
So 90 out of 100, 9 out of every 10 fail. Mm-hmm. And so they go, and they might even go bankrupt. I mean, it's bad.
So definitely not rich.
And then the ones that survive, only 4% of those. So 4 out of every 100
make it past $1 million.
Make it to their gross revenue is $7 million. And then you have to take their profits on top of that. So
in general?
No.
Probably not.
No, we're doing okay if we stay in
happy.
business, but we're not rich. But we're happy. It's a good investment. I like it. I'd rather do this than something else. Okay. Next.
Are business owners happier? I think that if you're running your business well and you hired people that you like working with,
yeah.
I would say absolutely yes. It's the reason to run a business.
I would say 74% of Americans are not happy at work, and that includes a lot of entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. But I would say that for the most part, entrepreneurs get to do what they want to do, and they're running a company if it's successful and profitable. Yeah.
But it is
pretty
hard
happy.
work.
Are they happier?
It is hard work, so
I don't know if we're happier, but as long as you don't do something stupid, you're happy. Sometimes life is hard. I mean, it just is. So, yeah.
Are business owners sociopaths? Really, that's a search thing that comes. Okay.
This is disgruntled employees. There's 74% of them out there are disengaged.
These are the actively disengaged ones. They're very mad at their boss, and they're like, are people who own businesses just sociopathic? I think it's entirely possible.
I'm like, all leaders, sociopaths, because, what are you going to do?
Are you a sociopath?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, excellent. Me neither.
How do you know?
That's what all sociopaths would say.
Okay. Oh, so that's what they all say. Okay.
Strange.
Next.
Are business owners entrepreneurs? Are entrepreneurs business owners?
Okay.
Often. Are business owners entrepreneurs?
So I think, squared rectangle.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So if you start a business, you're an entrepreneur. If you're taking a risk, you're an entrepreneur. But after you get an established business, a lot of business owners aren't risk takers like entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are starters. They like to start new things, and they're willing to take the risk on too. So if you're starting new stuff but you're not taking any risk, you're not an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and if you own a business because you inherited it or you are the next generation or something like that, then you're probably not the entrepreneur. So
and if you have an established business, say you've been at it for 10 years. You're not starting anything else. You might not be an entrepreneur anymore. You might just be a business owner because now you are running an established company. It's murky.
You could be both though. You could be a business owner who's running a successfully established business and starting something new. So then you're still, because you're kind of an entrepreneur.
Yeah. But then you become a serial entrepreneur. You kind of started something, and you start another thing. Just because you're starting new things doesn't mean the old things suck and it died.
Okay.
Sometimes you got to do 4 or 5 things before you catch something. I used to. Let's move on. Okay.
Are business owners smart? The 9 out of 10 businesses fail.
That's not so smart. That's not so smart.
So someone wasn't so smart there.
I do think that if you're going to be run a successful business, yes, you have to be smart.
Yes.
You don't have to be Einstein smart, but you have to be wise. You have to have knowledge and understanding, and you have to be able to apply that, and you have to have good judgment. You have to take risks, but you take informed risks. You don't take wild, stupid risks. So yeah, you have to be smart. So I guess by that factor, we're smart. Hey, did you know that? We're smart.
As
All right.
long as one of us is.
All right. Good.
Are business owners considered employees? I would say it depends on how you structure the company. We're W-2 employees of our own business.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're employees, but
A lot of people who start businesses, they're sole proprietorships. It's very risky. I would not do that. I would not advise it at all because A, you don't get certain tax benefits, and B, if it goes south, you have very little protection on your house or your car or anything else. Maybe there's not a lot of danger in what you're doing, but I don't recommend
and then you'll
it.
neither be rich nor smart.
And there are some lawyers I've heard of. I've never met these people, but I've heard of people saying, my lawyer told me I shouldn't incorporate. I should just stay a sole proprietor. If you're trying to make a living and pay all your bills, we're not lawyers, but we play one on TV, and we recommend that you incorporate in some form of incorporation.
Yes.
I wish you would speak to a business lawyer, not a lawyer who says they've incorporated or done all that stuff. Anyway, so yeah, employees, because if you take a W-2 from your company, and if you're a corporation, you do that, then you can take profit and stuff like that on top of it. That's fine. But yeah, definitely, you want to make sure you're getting paid. And the state of California and many states in the union will call them employees.
Okay.
All right, next.
Enough.
Okay.
Are we ready? Okay.
Why do entrepreneurs take risks? Because we must take risks.
We cannot help ourselves.
It's in our blood. Yeah.
Shrivel up and die without risk.
There are things that need to be done. There's no guarantees. You're either going to accomplish it and get the crap done and do it, or you're not. You're just going to sit there and say, I wish I'd done that, because a lot of things that are worth doing, they take risks. So,
And if you have an idea, you got to take a risk.
and remember how we said earlier, being an entrepreneur means you're starting a business and you're the one taking the risk. So yeah, we take risks.
You can't help it.
It's in our blood.
It's in our blood.
Why do entrepreneurs feel lonely?
Why?
Because not many people. Stop petting me in public. No, sorry, you weren't meant to hear that. Where were we?
Why are you lonely?
Why do we feel lonely? Because
Because you reject putting in.
most of us, if you take the Myers-Briggs, there's the intuitive thinker and there's NTs. There's only 10% of us in the population, and most of us that are entrepreneurs, there's not many of us, and we don't get to hang out with each other a lot because we're busy running our own companies. So it's hard to believe that, and it's hard to get people who understand your perspective. So yeah, a lot of us are lonely, and it's important to find other business people that you can build friendships and relationships with. I joined Rotary. Rotary was a phenomenal foundation organization. I was part of it for 12 years, and I still have great friendships of other business leaders from that. It's really good. That's why associations are good. Yeah, we're lonely.
You're going to be okay, though.
It's going to be okay. Why do entrepreneurs work long hours? It depends on what you mean by long hours. Some work because they're workaholics, and they just work 90, 100 hours. Some people work long hours because they're greedy. I know that you might not agree with that. I'm doing the video, you're not. And I think that
And some work long hours because there's just a lot to do.
Yeah,
and
well-
they can't afford yet to get help.
they can't. And sometimes as you're an entrepreneur starting something, you don't have a good grasp of all the fundamentals yet in your business. Sometimes you work long hours because it's early on and you're just trying to get it off the ground. But inherently, I don't think entrepreneurs have to work long hours.
No.
What do you think?
They need to become delegation ninjas.
Yeah.
Find
Oh,
help,
yeah.
even if it's outsourced help.
Yeah.
You got to become a delegation ninja so that you can do the important inventy stuff up here and take risks. So that otherwise you're going to feel.
So I'm
lonely
gonna say-
and sad.
Entrepreneurs should have to work long hours for short bursts of time and early on.
Yep.
But long over the haul, no.
Okay.
All right, is that one done?